Today I'm back in Montevallo at the site of Wilson's Hill, the original homestead in Montevallo, and I am at the spot where I have determined is the biggest bluff in the area above the spring. It's about a 40-foot bluff overlooking the spring, just down from the mill. It's the spot where the bricks are. The bricks are right over there. Big pile of bricks. And so what I'm doing is metal detecting today to see what's under the surface out here, see if I can't find any evidence that this was the actual spot. So I'm starting that up, and so I found my first little spot to dig, and I'm gonna get busy digging here. Found a nail. Another nail. And another nail. A piece of glass. Probably more nails in this. Yep. Just finding a bunch of nails right here by this fence, so I'm going to move a little farther away from the fence and try to make sure I'm not just finding fence nails. I'm on my second hole. I've dug up a ton of nails. You can see here that's just two little spots. My first spot was right by the fence, and so I moved. I'm about 20 feet away from the fence, and I've located something here. Looks like a tool, maybe. So it does appear to be some type of a tool. So, found my first real artifact here. I think I'm gonna go get a magnet when I eat lunch and try to get a little more efficient at getting the nails out of the dirt. That way I can retrieve the nails and get an idea of how many nails are here. Nails can be aggravating, but if they're from the house I'm looking for, then they're important to me. Right under the pliers, I found a large nail, more like what I was suspecting to find with a cabin. It's possible these other smaller nails are for the roofing. Not sure what the roofing would have been, but more than likely cedar shake roofing. So there's the nails I've gotten. It's I'm finding a ton of nails, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and get a way to sift this dirt and a magnet to grab them out to be a little more efficient at finding stuff. So I want to get an idea of how many nails are in each little spot that I dig, because everywhere out here the metal detector is just going off. So I'm just having to pick where I'm finding the heaviest signal and kind of dig there. So I'm just trying to get an idea of a little bit of a layout here, what's going on, how big is the area. So I'm gonna go eat a bite and grab a magnet and a sift. I went and got the magnet and I made a little sift. Brought a real shovel and a pick to try and speed things up, and I forgot my camera yesterday, so I'm back the next morning. I've got a big magnet here. I moved from the hole I was at and I've moved across the way. I kind of did a scan of the area with the metal detector, and I seem to be at the far edge of where I'm getting big readings on the metal detector. It kind of falls off over here. It appears as though the main site is over here. There's the brick pile there. It goes a little farther over here, so I'm going to try to get a good idea of the corners and just kind of go from there. So I'm going to keep going where I started yesterday and digging into this spot. I just ran out of time yesterday, and so I'm going to finish this hole here and then move on, kind of fill back in my holes when I've completed finding everything in those holes, put the dirt back where it was, and move to another corner. So that's where we're at. Finding little bits of the hollow brick down fairly deep. Trying to get it small enough to where if there's any coins in here, I don't miss those. Trying to make sure I got everything down to dime size. Not near as many nails on this side. I have found some nails. This strong magnet is really good at picking them up. And so I'm finding little bits of nails, but not a lot. Yesterday I did find 2 bits of cast iron here, right here in this spot. Looks like that was the way it went. So little piece of blue glass. I'm separating the glass into another little bag here. Not finding anything of real size. So that's the process. I'm gonna repeat that a few more times. I'll show you if I find anything. I've been digging here for 20 to 30 minutes with no luck. Haven't found anything but a few pieces of glass, but I'm still getting a signal on the metal detector saying coins. So I've kept digging right here to try and see if there is actually any coins. So I'm gonna give it a little longer here. It's got two little spots, one here and one here. So I keep on loosening it up and sifting through it to try and find them. And every time I go back with a metal detector, it keeps saying they're down there. So I'm not gonna give up yet. That would be really awesome to find a coin. I dug a little longer in that spot, but just kind of, I'm not giving up on it. I just need to move around a little more. And so I was kind of just scanning the area here to get an idea of how big the field is that I'm in. And just everywhere I go, it's just and then right here I've got a big signal, but it is really big. It's I'm about 60 feet from the hole on the far side over there, and I'm not as far as it goes that way a good little ways. So if this is it was a really big cabin, but that makes sense because his family was 12 and he had 14 slaves with him. So that's 28 people. They would have needed one cabin for 12 people and another cabin for 14 people, or a cabin big enough for 28, which is a pretty big cabin. So that makes perfect sense that it would have been a really big cabin, or several cabins. We could have multiple cabins here, and that would make sense too. So I'm going to kind of move around. I'm going to focus on these bigger sites that I'm seeing, and see if I can't find any big artifacts, and kind of focus on that, and kind of narrow down my search to the bigger things, because it's just a huge nail field here, and I could dig for days and find nothing but nails, I believe. So let me work on this. There's just so much stuff, it's hard to determine where to dig and put the dirt, because I don't want to put the dirt where I want to dig later. So I found a little area here where I'm not picking up anything. If I go any further, it's over here, it's over there, but right here, so I get over here and I have more, probably nails. So here's my spot, and I'm gonna put the dirt right here in this little area. So let me get started here. So as I was getting set up to dig, I was moving this piece of metal from over closer to the bricks. I'm kind of borrowing some of the sheet metal that's laying around to put dirt on. And I found this by this little tree right here at the end of my metal detector. It was just laying there. It's got, you see that line, so it's rolled steel, rolled into a tube. Then it's got these holes in it, about 3/4 of an inch, one on each side. That's probably where it broke. Not sure what it would have been, but probably some type of a railing. It's definitely not water pipe. So then started digging in the hole where I found my metal detector. Went off pretty good, and found some type of a steel. I thought it was a hinge at first, but it's not a hinge. Maybe a deadbolt door lock type deal. I'm not positive. I'm gonna keep looking here though. So starting to find bigger things. So I've continued to scour the area with a metal detector, and I'm not really getting any more big signatures, just a bunch of nail hits. As I get close to the fence over here, I'll show you it will will pick up. That's what you're looking for anything of size. So that's how I found several of the bigger items. But through the site there where I believe the cabin was, it is a ton of nails. Just everywhere you go is nails after nails. So I'm not going to keep trying to dig up nails. I think what I'm going to do is try to fill the holes back in that I've dug and kind of put things back together the way they were, and just look for bigger items, and then contact some people and see if we can't get others in agreement that this is probably Jesse Wilson's first cabin site. I'm no doctorate in history, but I've gotten pretty good at this lately and putting all the clues together. I feel pretty confident that I've found it here. The size of it, the things I've found, the amount of nails, the brick. I also found this here, another piece of the fireplace parts. I would like to keep finding bigger pieces of this and be able to put those pieces of the puzzle together. That would be awesome if I could find all of this. I've got a decent sized piece at home that I found, those two other pieces, and then this piece. So I think I'm going to just kind of limit my search to the bigger things and quit digging through the nails. I've got a bag of nails to prove what kind of nails we have and how many are here. And so I'm going to clean those nails up and try and get an idea if they're cut nails or forged nails, and go from there. I think it's time to bring others in on this. I wanted to make sure that this wasn't just a dump site before I started getting people excited about it. And so the more I look at it, the less I think it's a dump site. I would be finding more than just scattered nails and broken glass if it was a dump site. So I'm not gonna say definitively that this was it, but my gut tells me that this is Wilson's cabin, or cabins. I think that we need to come in here and clean the area up, get all the underbrush out, and then come in here with metal detectors and mark where we're getting the big signatures of nails, and just kind of mark those areas. And that will give us an idea. By looking at the flags on the ground, you can get an idea of the layout of the cabin and how it sat here, the edges, the corners, if it was one or two or three cabins. And so I think I need to quit digging and disturbing the area and bring some people on board. I think I've got enough evidence to get some other people involved. So that's what I'm going to do now, is fill these holes back in. There's nothing else down in there. I'm still getting a hit for some coins down in there, but I'm going to give up on that and fill it back in. I've gotten my holes filled in. You can see here, it's hard to tell where it was. So now I think I'm going to go down to where I think the mill sat. I'm going to kind of do the same there and dig around a little and see if I can't find any big artifacts. I'm not really going to dig for nails there, but if I get a big signature there, I will dig around a little and see if I can't find any proof that that was the mill site, and kind of go from there. So now I'm at the mill, and there's the wall in front of me there, and I'm going to start doing some metal detecting around the top of the wall. Just digging around, seeing if we find anything over here. Got a fence right up here. Ran my shin into the barbed wire coming down here. A lot of briars. So here's the fence. You hear that? lot of briars through here. I'll grab my clippers and kind of clip my way through. So right now I'm just assuming that this was the site of the mill. Found the dam, and so knowing how the mills work, I know that the mill would have been down the creek from the dam, and the water would have taken a mill race down to a wheel, and that worked the stone that ground the corn, or the sawmill, or whatever kind of mill it was. I don't really know what kind of mill it was, to be honest with you. It just states that there was a mill. Right now we're just in the discovery phase of knowing the truth. So part of it is cutting your way through here and checking for metal objects. If there's no metal here, there's a good chance that this was not the site of the mill, and I can rule this out. But if there's a lot of metal here, then we can speculate that this possibly was the site, and we can clean it up more and do a little more investigating. So right now I'm just pushing a small trail through here so I can work the metal detector into some of the thicker areas and get an idea of what's here. All right, I've cut my little rudimentary trail here, and now I'm ready to do some metal detecting. You get a false signal if you hit something like that. I believe we got nails. A lot of nails right there. I got the saying blood, sweat, and tears. And I've had blood and sweat. I hadn't cried yet about it, but I have bled a lot while doing this. My legs don't really show it right now. I've healed up a little bit. So I think we can see that there was nails here and that something was here. Some spaces more so than other. Had a big hit right there. Let's see if we do that again. A lot of nails. I'm not sure what caused it to give that false reading. They've just been multiple nails. Let's get up in the road, see what it does in the road. That's what I was afraid of. Pretty sure this road here came along after. There may have been a trail through here, but not to the extent that they have this road now. There's a spot farther back where a lot of dirt was dug up, so they probably raised this road up and then put the rock on top of it to make it where they had an improved road for their 18-wheelers. These guys have a big operation that they use multiple 18-wheelers and really big tractors and combines, so they have to have a really good road. So this road was probably put here a good while after the fact, and it kind of drops off from the roadway here down to the site where I'm catching. Like, there's a lot of nails in that over there. Not really showing it here, but right over there is where I was getting a lot of nails, and it is a good 2.5 to 3 feet below this road bed. So this road bed may have covered up part of the original site, and we're just not going to be able to find it, but we've got part of it, so we've got more to work on there. I think I'm done metal detecting for now. I think I've found about all I need to find to get other people involved and to have something to show. So I'm gonna get up out of here and go get some lunch and go and look for something else to dig up. But that's it for now here. Meerkat's out.